Lads, welcome back to Fusion YGO and another deck profile today, and this time around, everyone called me a madman. So as you guys may remember, on the most recent ban list, Konami decided to finally hit Curious Lightsworn Dominion. Overall a good call for the meta, but it really did impact my scrap deck a lot, so we had to go ahead and change things up a little bit here, and by a little, I mean a lot. So today we're going to go ahead and explore my new scrap build, and before we hop into stuff today guys, be sure to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button down below so you can get future content like this as well. If this video hits 15 likes, I'll do a combo tutorial for this deck for you. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into the deck profile today. Alright, so as per usual, we are going to start with the scrap engine. So we are running the 3 scrap recyclers as per normal. This is our biggest combo enabler of the deck, and really it centers a lot of our combos around it, but we do have a lot more options than normal this time, so this is not your end all be all now. To find extra copies of Scrap Recycler, we are of course still running the 3 copies of Scrap Raptor. It's just an absolute must within the scrap deck, just cannot go wrong there. And of course we have to have our 2 scrap golems to make sure that we always have one in deck so that we are able to loop that recycler like crazy. And of course, with the scrap engine, you can't go without your 2 copies of Fossil Dig and 2 copies of Scrapyard to get you extra copies of Scrap Raptor, equaling extra copies of Scrap Recycler. And then to finish off the scrap engine, we are running 3 urgent schedule to go ahead and get us our complete setup for going second. Also a bonus extender going first. We can pop it off of our Scrap Wyvern to search for that level 10 monster. So that's it for the scrap engine. Let's go ahead and move on to the Machinas. I'm just starting with the standard stuff first because I don't want to give anyone a shock just yet. So with the Machina engine, if you guys remember from last video, we have severely cut it down now. So we are running triple Machina Fortress, just kind of our base extender for the deck. I mean, we have a lot of machines, so it's just an easy discard it from hand, sets up more fodder for Ruin Force, and then gets Fortress as an extra body on field. Also running 1 Machina Citadel, and 1 Machina Ruin Force to kind of help round up the monsters there. And to finish them up, we have 2 Machina Redeployment to help us search for our Machina monsters to get bonus extenders, and also just be able to set up things like Citadel and Ruin Force, which are super nice. Alright, and now for the most recent addition to the scrap deck that you guys know of is going to be the Therion package. I did adjust ratios a little bit, so we are running triple Therion King Regulus still, nothing too bad there. It's just a free machine extender that also gives the deck a free negate. I mean, how could you go wrong in that regard at all? 2 Therion Lily Borea. I bumped this up to 2 because we actually have more reason to search the Therion spells and traps now, and if we have a way to get Regulus to graveyard, then we still get that negate all the same. So super sweet there. We're still running our 2 Therion Disc Coliseum because it's just an extra way to search both of them, so it gives us basically 4 copies of Lily Borea and 5 copies of Regulus. And then we are currently playing 2 Endless Engine Argeo system. I did cut it down to 2 because 3 just kind of felt like too much, but this gives us a little bit of a resource engine so we can loop every turn a Therion monster, so it's just really nice to be able to have that engine turned online. And then lastly, for the Therion part of the deck here, we are playing 1 copy of Therion Cross. This is just an extra disruption that we can search with Lily Borea that's just like absolutely free, so if we end up with the Therion left on board or a way to revive one during our opponent's turn, we can search for the Therion Cross, and then it gives us an extra monster negate or a banish effect, which is really cool. So both effects of Therion Cross, super good, especially in the current format. Alrighty, and then for the new engine that you guys definitely were not expecting to see at this deck at any point in time, I definitely was not either. This was actually Patrick's idea. It started off as a joke, and then we started testing it and realized it's actually insane. So starting off with the Spright engine here, we are running 1 copy of Spright Blue, 1 copy of Spright Jet, 1 Spright Red, and 1 Spright Carrot for the monsters. I know this engine sounds super weird and like it doesn't fit in scraps at all, but we are a fairly Link 2 heavy-centric theme, and it's super easy to be able to get enough stuff on board to be able to go through your Spright combo, summoning blue from deck or hand if you draw it, getting Jet, using Jet to get starter, and then you just have ways to get your other 2 monsters on field, which both of them act as extra disruption, or extra bodies to go into Link plays with, so you can set up to create a board on your opponent's turn. This deck is actually more centered around going first now, you'd much prefer it, but if you go second, you could always side these out in games 2 and 3, and you still have options going going second to break boards, which is nice. For the rest of the Spright engine here, we are playing, of course, 2 Spright starter, get us started with that combo, or be an extender if we have to get Jet through later in the combo. We also have 1 Spright Smashers to be able to search off a Jet. This is an extra way to get a Therion on board. It's also a banish itself. There's just a ton of things that Spright Smashers does that's super, super cool. And then the very last card for Spright is 1 copy of Spright Double Cross, another searchable trap card that just provides insane disruption, especially for a format like this, where you're able to just yoink an opponent's monster out of the graveyard, say like a Tearlament, before it gets a chance to activate. Is just super, super cool. So that's it for the Spright engine. Actually pretty compact for the most part in the main deck, and surprisingly this deck is still only like 46 or 47 cards, so it's not even that bad. And now finally, just for the last few supplemental cards of the deck to make sure that we have the full engine online and just give us a couple extra extenders, we are running the 2 Heavy Freight Train Derricrane. It's just a free special summon. We have a ton of Earth Machines in this deck. It only makes sense. Of course, the 1 Christian Rosenix in case we don't open an extender in our opening hand, which is very rare with this build, actually. And then 1 World Legacy World Crown for our World Legacy package, which will turn on our World Legacy Succession. And then we also have 1 copy of Monster Reborn to finish off the main deck. As you guys can tell, this deck is all gas, and once again, it really aims to go first, set up a ton of disruption going first, but of course you do have ways to play going second, and then we will also cover some extra options in the side deck later as well. So let's go ahead and move on to the extra deck first, and then we will get on to that last bit. So starting off with the extra deck here, of course, still running the 2 mandatory Scrap Wyvern. Any Scrap build just needs 2 of these. You're playing enough Scrap names, there's just no reason not to. Wyvern's great for setting up your plays, for helping break boards. Wyvern is just amazing. And then, of course, we have to have our Spright Link 2 monsters in here, so we're actually running 2 Elf currently. They act as extenders on your turn and your opponent's turn, and they just do a whole lot in general. Spright Elf is actually just insane. They're also playing 1 Spright Sprint. This basically acts as our Curious now, because now we use Sprint to mill a target that we actually want, and I will show you guys where this card comes into play in the combo tutorial. So once again, don't forget to hit that like button down below so we can hit the 15 likes to get the combo tutorial for this video. For the rest of our Link 2s, we are currently playing 1 Lib, the World Key Blade Master, of course, for our World Legacy Succession combo. Lib is just absolutely insane. And then, of course, IP Masquerena. If you're going first and you're using Lib, you need IP, so that way you have extra disruption on your opponent's turn. And we actually have several targets for IP Masquerena that are just insane. We're also playing 1 Asa, the Earth Charmer Immovable. I did order a Dark. I'm not 100% sure if I'm actually going to play it in this deck, but Asa is just great for being able to play against the Ishizu matchup, because then you can either force the Ishizu cards out of the graveyard, or if they don't activate them, then you just get to steal them as a free extender, which is super nice. But usually it's forcing them to activate them at a non-optimal time, so that way they're not really using them to their fullest effect. Of course, we have to have a Nightmare Unicorn since we have IP. IP Lib and Unicorn is just a shuffle back 2 cards for 1 discard. It's just absolutely insane. And then you also have setup for the next card in our list, which is that access code Talker. I mean, you can't play Unicorn without access code. It just makes too much sense. It's extra removal for the board, helps you get rid of a ton of things, and of course, access code really helps clean up games super fast. We are also playing the 1 Appaloosa, just another really good card to have with the IP combo, so that way you can go into this on your opponent's turn and get even more disruption out of your board. Same thing goes for Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. This is another similar situation to Nightmare Unicorn, but this is ways to deal with like big boss monsters that are unaffected or things like that, and also get you some graveyard disruption and a Dark Ruler no more when it hits the field. So absolutely insane card. And 1 card that I bet you guys never would have expected in this extra deck is we are now able to play the Arrival Cybers at Ignister. We used to be a more mono or duo type or attribute type deck, but now with the Spright engine we actually have enough attributes to be able to at least make this guy as a 4K body, which a 4K unaffected body is really hard for a lot of decks to deal with, especially when you're using it to dodge disruption, like say they're trying to Dark Ruler your board and you're able to respond with a trap card or a Smashers and then IP into this guy to kind of save it. That it's just a little bit of an extra backup plan for you. So that's it for our Link monsters. We have 2 left in the extra deck. They're both Exceeds. We have the 1 Gigantic Spright, which can help extend or turn on our Spright combos, which is just absolutely insane. And then 1 number 29 Mannequin Cat. This is just a really silly card. This honestly could be swappable. I'm thinking about putting a Zeus in its place or something else, who knows. But so far Mannequin Cat's doing good for right now. So I'll do some more testing with it and I'll kind of decide from there. So that's it for the extra deck. Let's go ahead and cover the side deck super quick. All right, so for the side deck, we will start off with the monsters still. So I'm actually running the Codebreaker package in here, which includes 1 Codebreaker Zero Day, 1 Codebreaker Virus Swordsman, and 1 Codebreaker Virus Berserker. The reason I'm playing this package is because if you know that you're going second, you can use this to swap out your Spright package, which is usually a little bit better going first more than it is going second. This can help you break more boards. It's especially good against back row matchups because it allows you to just pop 3 back row and get a ton of bodies on field, which is absolutely nuts. To pair with these, we do have a few more link monsters to kind of help cover up the extra deck for the Spright engine. We're running 1 Unchained Abominations. We do a lot of popping. This just helps us really get advantage on our opponent. 1 Mechanic Crusadia Avermax, another funny target to go into with the IP Lib combo. It just becomes such a hard monster for your opponent to out. And then you also get to shuffle 1 on field when it's summoned. And then if they do remove it, you get to shuffle another card on field, which is just insane. 1 Saryuja Skull Dread just for a combo extender, also really good for the Link Arrows for the Codebreaker combo. So if we know that we're going against a back row heavy matchup, we'll put in the Codebreaker package and the Saryuja, because if we can make Saryuja with 3 materials, then it's usually a lot easier to get that Codebreaker combo, and then we can use Saryuja for something like an access code, like we can turn our Codebreaker Virus Berserker and a Saryuja into an access code, and then we have a link for material for access code that makes him a 6300 beater. Now for the spell cards, we are running triple Dark Ruler no more because we just don't really want to deal with big boards. This also helps again going second if we know that we're going to be dealing against a really hard matchup. We can Dark Ruler the board, break it, and then still be able to set up our own even if we do side out the Spright package. We are also running 3 Triple Tactics Talents, just an insane card this format in general. You get so many effects that are resolving on your turn from your opponent, like you get Tier Limits cards, you get a Shizu cards, there's a lot of things that happen on your turn. So it's really good to have this as an extra plan to be able to draw 2 cards, shuffle a card from your opponent's hand, or steal an opponent's monster. All 3 effects are just absolutely insane. And then to finish off the side deck, we are also playing Evenly Matched because I feel you cannot play Dark Ruler without playing evenly. You already don't really care that much about your battle phase anyways if you're going to Dark Ruler a board, so you might as well break it in the strongest way possible, especially in a format like Tier Limits where everything wants to go to the graveyard. This way you guarantee none of that stuff is going to get its effects when you break that board. So that's it for the deck today, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If there's any ideas you have for this deck, feel free to let me know down there as well. I always love hearing your guys' critiques and suggestions, and I look forward to seeing this video get 15 likes so that we can do that comment tutorial for you and you guys can get an idea of how this deck functions. It is actually super insane. Patrick and I have been playing around with it for a couple weeks now, and it's just been absolutely incredible. So that is all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video, and I look forward to seeing you guys all in the next one. And remember, good fun. Have luck.